announcements to go over with you tonight, and then we'll get started with our service. Tonight, at the end of service, we'll be having a finance committee meeting in Brother Jesse's office immediately following the service this evening. I want to remind you, August 11th, the Ladies' Fellowship will be at 6 o'clock. And then on August 15th, the Men's Fellowship will be at 6 o'clock. And we want to invite everyone to come to that. That's something that's open to the whole church. I don't want any confusion to be there. We want everybody to be there. We have a good time. We eat, we talk, we have fun. We hear preaching, and it's a good time. Also, August 28th is the last Sunday night of this month. We'll be having our family fun night. Sunday evening service starts at 4 o'clock, and we'll be going out back and cooking out and having some good times there, playing volleyball and just sitting there talking and making fun of people that are trying to play volleyball that are too old and shouldn't be out there playing volleyball, you know? So everybody has a good time. I want to remind you also, this Friday night, August 12th at 6:30, the teens will be having a youth activity here at the church. They need to bring their friends. There'll be a prize for whoever brings their most friends Friday night and then brings them back Sunday morning. So Brother Austin added a little twist there to try to make it a little more challenging for them, right? That's because it's a really good prize. That's right. All right. Brother Todd, would you pray for the offering this evening?
Lord, I want to thank you, Lord, for this offering. Lord, I pray to you, Lord, for your name, your honor, your glory. Lord, we pray. Amen.
The old man hobble over here. Missions moment, we received another update. This is the May-June update from the Russell family in Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea is a very poor third world island, really. And they start out by saying, it is a privilege in Papua New Guinea to hold Christian religious education, CRE, he calls them, classes in the public school. Our church takes classes in 2 of the 6 schools on the island. My wife and I take the 3B class at one of them. The students in 3B range from 8 to 15 years old. I don't quite understand how or why, but we are happy to teach each one. Several have begun attending Dara Baptist Church as a result. Please pray that this privilege will continue and that our church teachers will be faithful. On another smaller island there, he calls it WIPIM, Wipim Projects. He's praising the Lord for his, he says, our wood miser sawmill is now 18 years old. It has been a wonderful tool in our church planning efforts. But after the big project in Condoble last year, it needed some major maintenance. We ordered the needed parts in November, and a fellow missionary was willing to add them to his container to ship over. We received the parts in June and immediately went up the river to do the needed repairs. Thank you to all of you who gave then and still others of you who give now. Your giving makes it possible for us to continue to utilize this great resource, this sawmill. He said in, Lord have mercy, these names. Lamaja Baptist Church was next on the milling schedule. I am actually in the bush now to do the maintenance and the milling. So far, we have milled 5 trees. The machine is looking like it's been born again. We will let the timber dry for a while and then come back and to build, probably in September. If you want to be a part of a small building project, let me know. And then over there in YPM, he says they've got a new pastor. Unfortunately, the pastor in YPM needed to resign recently because of family problems and other conflicts. There was not a moral failure on his part, but the church had been hindered for quite some time because of the issues he was facing. The church is preparing to call their deacon, Bushman Molam, to be their new pastor. He graduated from Bible school in 2016 and has been leading the church services for over a year. As his name communicates, he is a bushman. I've encouraged him by saying, Jesus called some uneducated men to follow him, and then he educated them. And he said, please pray for he and his wife, Lavina, as they grow and strive to help others also to grow in the Lord. And tell you a little bit about how they get around over there. It rains a lot, okay, over there in Papua New Guinea. He said, our trailer that we pull behind our Kubota tractor is also aging. It has suffered much over the past 13 years on our rugged roads. Lest I bore you with too many details of our life's trials here, we are welding on new axles and rebuilding the suspension and bed. This trailer is an integral part of our bush ministry. It hauls our supplies, timber from milling, patience, and needy people. Our tractor is basically the only reliable transport around for more than 100 miles. It communicates, I care for you, to many people. And he said, thanks again for giving so that we can continue what needs to be done. Wimpum is a bush place. Dora Island seems like it too sometimes. There is no electricity, no running water, no post office or shops. Instead of replacing our generator recently, we decided to upgrade to solar. I was able to build a 24-volt, 2,000-watt inverter system that can also run our solar freezer. It is so thrilling to be able to turn the tap on and have water pressure, flip a switch for lights and fans to turn on, or to open a lid to enjoy a cup of ice water. Thank you all for all you do to make our lives a little more comfortable here. He says, our daughter Ruth recently graduated from Pacific Baptist College in Long Beach, California. Knowing that we will not be able to attend, I asked a dear pastor friend to stand in my place for her. Although she was saddened by our absence, she felt so loved by Pastor Miracle. We have known Pastor Miracle since we were teenagers. He was one of my Bible school instructors, and his church has supported us for at least 20 years. Please pray for Ruth to know God's will for her future. She has a desire to minister to the deaf. Our son Titus recently was married. We were not able to attend because of various mandates that were still in force for travelers. Although this saddens us, we rejoice that 2 of our daughters and Anna's parents could be there. Thank you for praying for us. We signed up to sacrifice for our Lord, and these were just 2 of them. Thank you for helping us continue to train men and women for ministry in Papua New Guinea. That's the Russell family.
Are you past the point of weary? Is your burden weighing heavy? Is it all too much to carry? Let me tell you about my Jesus. Do you feel that empty feeling? 'Cause shame's done all it's stealing, and you're desperate for some healing. Oh, let me tell you about my Jesus. He makes a way when there ain't no way, rises up from an empty grave. There's no sinner that he can't save. Let me tell you about my Jesus. His love is strong and his grace is free. And the good news is I know that he can do for you what he's done for me. Let me tell you about my Jesus. And let my Jesus change your life. Who can wipe away the tears from broken dreams and wasted years and tell the past to disappear? Oh, let me tell you about my Jesus and all the wrong turns that you would go and undo if you could. He can work it all for your good. Let me tell you about my Jesus. He makes a way when there ain't no way, rises up from an empty grave. There's no sinner that he can't save. Let me tell you about my Jesus. His love is strong and his grace is free. And the good news is I know that he can do for you what he's done for me. Let me tell you about my Jesus. And let my Jesus change your life. Who would take my cross to Calvary, pay the price for all my guilty? Who would care that much about me? Oh, let me tell you about my Jesus. He makes a way when there ain't no way, rises up from an empty grave. There's no sinner that he can't save. Let me tell you about my Jesus. His love is strong and his grace is free. And the good news is I know that he can do for you what he's done for me. Let me tell you about my Jesus. And let my Jesus change your life. Hallelujah. 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 Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. 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 Let my Jesus change your life.
I'm going to have them do that again here in just a minute. Before church, I was sitting there in the foyer, and I was looking through my Bible, and my Bible has all my preaching notes in it, most of them, and a lot of old ones in here from years ago. And I was just flipping through, looking and reading some of my old notes, and I found this message that I preached probably 6-7 years ago, and it's out of Psalms 103, and verse 1, it says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name." In verse 2, again it says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits." And it says, "Who forgiveth all thine iniquities, and who healeth all thy diseases, who redeemeth thy life from destruction, who crowneth thee with loving kindness and tender mercies, who satisfieth thy mouth with good things, so that thy youth is renewed like the eagles. The Lord executeth righteousness and judgment for all that are oppressed. He made known his ways unto Moses, his acts unto the children of Israel. I'm thankful for a God that makes known his ways. He proved himself to Moses, and he showed himself to Israel. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, thank God, plenteous in mercy. He will not always chide, neither will he keep his anger forever. He hath not dealt with us after our sins. Somebody say amen. Nor rewarded us according to our iniquities. For as the heaven is high above the earth, so great is his mercy toward them that fear him. As far as the east is from the west, so far hath he removed our transgressions from us. Like as a father pitieth his children, so the Lord pitieth them that fear him. For he knoweth our frame, and he remembereth that we are dust. As for man, his days are as grass, as a flower of the field, so he flourisheth. For the wind passeth over it, and it is gone, and the place thereof shall know it no more. But the mercy of the Lord is for everlasting, and to everlasting, upon them that fear him, and his righteousness unto children's children, to such as keep his covenant, and to those that remember his commandments to do them. The Lord hath prepared his throne in the heavens, and the kingdom ruleth over all. Bless the Lord, ye his angels that excel in strength, and do his commandments, hearkening unto the voice of his word. Bless ye the Lord, all ye his host, ye ministers of his that do his pleasure. Bless the Lord, all his works, in all places of his dominion. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Psalms 104 says, bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord my God, thou art very great, and thou art clothed with the honor and majesty, who coverest thyself with light as with a garment, who stretcheth out the heavens like a curtain, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind, who maketh his angels spirits, his ministers a flaming fire, who laid the foundations of the earth that it would not be removed forever. Thou coverest it with the deep, as with a garment the waters stood above the mountains. And I rebuked they fled. At the voice of the thunder they hasted away. They go up by the mountains, they go down by the valleys into the place which thou hast founded them. Thou hast set a bound that they may not pass over, that they turn not again to cover the earth. He sendeth the springs into the valleys which run among the hills. They give drink to every beast of the field, and the wild asses quench their thirst. And by them shall the fowls of heaven have their habitation, which sing among the branches. He watereth the hills from his chambers. The earth is satisfied with the fruit of thy works. He causeth the grass to grow for the cattle, and the herb in the service of man, that he may bring forth food out of the earth, and wine that maketh glad the heart of man, and oil to make his face to shine, and bread which strengtheneth man's heart. The trees of the Lord are full of sap, and the cedars of Lebanon which he hath planted, where the birds make their nest, as for the stork, the fir trees are her house. The high hills are a refuge for the wild goats, and the rocks of the conies. He appointed the moon for seasons, the sun knoweth his going down. Thou makest darkness and it is night, wherein all the beasts of the forest do creep forth. The young lions roar after their prey, and they seek their meat from God. The sun ariseth, they gather themselves together, and they lay down in their dens. Man goeth forth unto his work and to his labor until the evening. O Lord, how manifold are their works! In wisdom hast thou made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. So is this great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping, innumerable, it says, both small and great beasts. There go the ships, there in the Leviathan, whom thou hast made to play therein. These wait all upon thee, that thou mayest give them their meat in due season. That thou givest them that they gather. Thou openest thine hand upon the field, and are filled, thank you, sweetheart, and are filled with good. Thou hidest thy face, they are troubled. Thou takest away their breath, that they die and return to the dust. Thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth. The glory of the Lord shall endure forever. The Lord shall rejoice in his works. He looketh on the earth, and it trembleth. He toucheth the hills, and they smoke. I will sing unto the Lord as long as I live. I will sing praise to my God while I have my being. My meditation of him shall, listen, it says, it shall be sweet, and I will be glad in the Lord. Let the sinners be consumed out of the earth, and let the wicked be no more. Bless the Lord. O my soul, praise ye the Lord. O give thanks unto the Lord. Call upon his name. Make known his deeds among the people. Sing unto him psalms. Sing psalms unto him. Talk ye of all his wonderful works. Glory ye in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice and seek the Lord. Seek the Lord in his strength. Seek his face evermore. Remember his marvelous works, that what he hath done, his wonders, and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Abraham, his servant, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth. He hath remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. But it says in 103, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits. And David here, listen, he goes from this point on, and he just begins to list benefit after benefit after benefit. He said, I can't think of any right now. You just start in Psalms 103, and you just start reading. Listen, the Lord's given us some benefits. I'm so glad, listen, that he hasn't removed our transgressions. He's removed our transgressions from us. I like his verse 13, like as a father pitieth his children, so the Lord pitieth them that fear him. Amen. I'm so glad that the Lord loves me like I was his own child. Amen. Listen, he loves me. Amen. In Psalms 103, bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me, bless his holy name. Listen, it will do us some good every now and then to just bless the Lord. I wrote a few of these things down the other day. A few years ago in my Bible, I put, count your blessings, and I put, I'm thankful for my salvation. I'm thankful for where it all started. I'm thankful that my salvation in the Lord is sure, it's true. Listen, there's nothing that can take it away. There's nothing that can change it. There's nobody in this world, including myself, Brother Diego, that can take my salvation from me. It's all mine because the Lord gave it to me. And listen, I put under there, I'm thankful for my protection until my conversion. I'm thankful for the fact that God protected me and He allowed me. Listen, I might not have been raised in a perfect home. I might not have been raised in a church home, but there was times throughout my life, Brother Eddie, that my mama took me to church. And listen, that seed was planted even when I was a young boy, about 5 or 6 years old. I remember Sunday school teachers teaching lessons. I remembered them for all those years, and I remembered that the Lord was God because a Sunday school teacher told me that there was only one true God. And listen, it was the Lord Jesus Christ. Thankful for my protection until my conversion, and I'm thankful for the process of my conversion. I also put not only my salvation, but I put my supplications provided. It's where my needs are met. And I wrote down 3 provisions. I wrote down my unseen provisions. I wrote down my unneeded provisions. And I wrote down my ungrateful provisions. Because a lot of times I do get so ungrateful. And I always want more and more and more. And listen, I got to think about this because Brother Benny was reading that missionary letter. Boy, God's been so good to me. The things that we don't even see that He takes care of. The things that we don't even need that He takes care of. And the things that we don't even think Him for, He takes care of. And I also put in here, I put not only my salvation and my supplication, but I put my service. Where God placed me and called me. I put in there my call to preach. I'm so thankful for my call to preach. I'm thankful that God would see fit to place me in the ministry, in the service for Him. Listen, if you're in here tonight, you ought to be thankful for the fact that God's allowed you to serve Him in any capacity that you get to serve Him. Whether it be on a bus, whether it be in a Sunday school class, Brother Todd, whether it just be cooking downstairs on the Blackstone. The fact that God saved you and allowed you to do that for people, man, what a blessing it is. Even if it's just running a sound booth, you don't have to be here tonight, but God saw fit. Bless His name. I'm thankful that I get to serve the Lord. I put on here my salvation, my supplication, my service, and lastly I put on here my spouse. Because I'm so thankful for my wife. Thankful that God saved her and prepared her and put her in my life for me to serve the Lord with, alongside of her every single day. And underneath that, I put the fruits of that, my children. And then I put the faithfulness of that love. I'm thankful because I know a lot of friends of mine who don't have what I have in a spouse. They don't have what I have in my home. And I'm thankful for that. You say, well, I don't have that. Who's to say He can't do that for you? You say, well, I already have a spouse and things aren't what they ought to be. He can fix it. Because if I look at Psalms 104 and I look at all these things He does, how He can hold back the ocean in its place. And I sat on the beach all week and I watched that water just stop in a certain place and go right back. And I thought, man, what a God we serve. That can just make the water come so far and go back. And I was watching these little birds, they'd come, and when that wave would go back, them little birds would run down to the edge of that water and they'd eat, and they'd run back. And I thought, man, that bird's sitting there waiting on God to just pull that sand back just enough for them to run down there and get a meal. I mean, that's God. And if He loves a bird enough to make a big old ocean come out and expose food for it, think about how much He loves you. The fact that He sent His Son to die for your sins. You know what we ought to do tonight? We ought to just bless the Lord. And I'm not talking about just a little, and I'm okay with it. I'm not talking about just a little, amen, God's good. I'm talking about a Psalms 103. Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that's within me, bless His holy name. We ought to get to a place every now and then where we just get to all that's within me. I just want to say thank you, Lord. All that's within me, I want to bless your name. Why? Because He's so good. And He deserves our praise. He deserves us to worship Him and to glorify Him and to magnify His name. I just thought about that tonight, and they're going to sing that song again. And I want to encourage you, get around this altar tonight and worship Him. Thank God for the goodness and the grace and mercy in your life. Listen, we could all sit in here tonight, every single one of us. Every one of us, Brother Diego, could sit in here tonight and number the things that are wrong in our life. We all have problems. You say, well, my kids didn't turn out like I wanted them to. Okay, well, we all have an issue. We all have a problem. We all have things in our life that didn't turn out like we wanted to. But I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're sitting under the sound of my voice, you have something to praise the Lord for. Why? Because God put you in a church. God gave you a Bible. He showed you the gospel. Amen. We have something to praise the Lord for. The fact that we're born in this nation, the greatest nation on earth. Amen. Something to worship Him about. I'm looking out here tonight and I'm looking at Brother Brian. Whole family saved, on the way to heaven. Listen, got his boys in here, healthy. Something to praise Him for. Something to praise Him for. Brother Keith, this morning, it did me so good. I was sitting in my office and I heard them kids from the bus coming in the parking lot. I could hear them singing. I just stepped out on my back porch there at my office and just started squalling, thinking about them kids and how happy they were that somebody came and got them this morning. That's the reason to serve Him, worship Him. Amen. They're going to sing it again. Let's all stand. Let's all stand this evening. You say you're going to preach? I just did. I just preached. As they sing, I want to encourage you to come. I want to encourage you maybe to get your family, get your whole family, your wife, your children. Come get around the altar. Worship Him. Thank God for the fact that He blessed you with a husband or a wife or children or grandchildren that are here. The fact that you get to serve Him. The fact that you get to love Him. The fact that you get to do anything for Him is a miracle. Let me tell you about my Jesus.
He makes a way when there ain't no way. Rises up from an empty grave. There's no sinner that He can't save. Let me tell you about my Jesus. His love is strong and His grace is free. And the good news is I know that He can do for you what He's done for me. Let me tell you about my Jesus. And let my Jesus change your life. Who would take my cross to Calvary? Pay the price for all my guilt royalty.
Yes.
Who would care that much about me? Oh, let me tell you about my Jesus.
Yes.
He makes a way when there ain't no way. Rises up from an empty grave. There's no sinner that he can't save. Let me tell you about my Jesus. His love is strong and his grace is free. And the good news is I know that he can do for you what he's done for me. Let me tell you about my Jesus. Let my Jesus change your life. Hallelujah. 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 Amen. Amen. Hallelujah. 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 Let my Jesus change your life.
Amen. Heads bowed and eyes closed for just a minute as he plays. We're going to pray here in just a second, but you know, a lot of times we get ungrateful, like I said. Sometimes we get complacent. We just get used to the good things of the Lord. You know, and I don't want our church to get there. I don't want us to get to the place where all we see people saved every week. And I mean, God absolutely filled this whole bottom was almost full this morning. And I remember a time on a Sunday morning when we was running about 50. I don't want us to get complacent. I don't want us to get to the place where we don't rejoice in the goodness of God. And I remember, things sometimes with time, they wear on. You have your first baby and man, it's everything. And then you have another one, When you first get married, there's a reason they call it that honeymoon stage. But it does us some good sometimes to stop and reflect and look back on your marriage and just see how good God's been. Look back at your kids and remember the time that maybe you didn't have any. Remember the time that maybe you tried and for a long, long time and maybe thought you weren't going to get to. Because there's a lot of people in here tonight that are like that. Maybe there's a time when you wanted to serve the Lord. You wanted to be a part of a ministry and you just didn't have a place and you didn't have a time or a place where you could serve, but now you get to. Maybe there was a time you were out, you weren't in, you got out of church for a while and weren't really serving God like you should, but now God's put you here and God's placed you in a good church and given you the opportunity to serve Him. We ought not take it for granted. We ought not take it lightly. I want to say tonight, bless the Lord, oh my soul, and all that is within me, bless His holy name. Heavenly Father, Lord, I thank you tonight. I want to personally thank you for my home and my ministry and my family, that they're healthy and that I have them. I know there's a lot of folks in here tonight that don't. And I thank you, Lord, that tonight I have my family here serving the Lord together with me. Lord, I thank you for this place, this church, and what it represents and what it stands for, the testimony that it has. I thank you for the people that serve here. Thank you for the people that have stepped up lately and gotten involved and given and serving. Lord, I don't want to overlook that. Lord, I remember when we didn't have anybody hardly to serve. Thank you for the musicians and the singers and Lord, I don't want to overlook any of those things. I thank you for all the children, all these kids that are here. I remember the day that Bo was the only boy, only kid here. Lord, I thank you for each and every person that serves in a ministry here, whether it be the sound, bus ministry, media, finances, whatever the case may be. Lord, I want to thank you, and I want to say, bless the Lord, oh my soul. With all that is within me, bless his holy name. Lord, I thank you for every single penny that came in on the Proof God offering. Every person that gave and sacrificed, I want to say thank you. Lord, I pray, God, that you'd help us to continue to grow in the right areas. Lord, help us to follow you exactly like we should. And Lord, I thank you for the good, sweet spirit we felt in here tonight. Lord, I want to say I bless your holy name for all that you've done and all that you're going to do with Grace Baptist Church. Lord, in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. You can be seated. Anybody maybe have a word on your heart before we dismiss? Maybe you just like to brag on the Lord, how good he's been. Anybody? Brother Jim?
It makes me go see a bunch of my family, some of my brothers, stuff like that. And I get to see how good God is to me. You know, I look at their lives and their lifestyles, things they're going through, and compare the difference, and there's a big difference. The Lord has been real good.
Amen.
Just thank you.
Amen. Anybody else? Just want to brag on the Lord. It do you some good. Even if all you said was it's good to be saved. Anybody? Brother Brian? Amen. Amen.
I'd like to thank the Lord for saving me, and I'd like to thank him for his many blessings on my life, and he's blessed me far more than I could ever imagine, far more than I ever deserved. A couple of weeks ago, we got, first I want to thank the Lord for, I haven't even really said it, but we had Peyton had issues with her blood pressure, and last year was kind of scary, but we were praying, and just one aspirin a day, a little baby aspirin's been working, and I thank God every day for it. I say, Lord, even though maybe you've used the medicine to help keep it down, and I thank him for that. But this time last year, in the middle of July, man, our going through some really hard stuff, in our church, the Mormon Church. It was this time last year in the middle of July, and we didn't know what the Lord was going to do, but I was concerned, and I didn't know, and didn't know where we were going to go, and we were hurt, we were all kind of things, didn't know what to do. Like you said, God, that great God that you just read about, who can do all those things. And for some reason, I think the psalmist said, he said, what is man that thou art mindful of me?
Yeah.
Through my life, I'm nothing, and this one just a speck of dirt. But God would care to set things up in my life, to put people in my life, to take people away in my life, to get me to a place where he wants to be, me to be at. And I'm so thankful that God would do that for me.
Amen.
Because who am I?
Yeah.
That he would be mindful of me. I'm nobody.
Yeah.
But just because he's God, he can do what he wants to do, and I'm so thankful for it. I'm thankful.
Amen.
When you started out with this Prove God offering, God put on my heart a number I fought with. Debbie and I live off of Social Security, and there was no work coming in. So I got over half of it. I had that saved up. Already had my deer hunting paid for. God was good there. Thank goodness I got it paid for before Proof of God came along. But I still like a bunch. And I got a check in the mail. I really didn't think I'd get it. But not only did I get a check in the mail, but I got an assurance of everything's all right.
Amen.
I just think that God was to provide what He put on my heart.
Yeah. Amen. See, that's why we did the Prove God right there. You say, well, you know, yeah, we need the money, but that's why. So you can have a story, a testimony. Well, God did this. You know, I'll give mine. We had vacation coming up, and I'm not the greatest with keeping up with money. Somebody say amen. And Kelly, she said, how much have you put in? So we tried to do the math and try to keep up with, backtrack and see all that. And we were lacking right here at the end. And we too had a certain amount that we wanted to give, and she looked at everything and she said, everything's covered. And she said, with my check that I get, that'll be exactly the amount to finish our Prove God. That's just Him. Here I was afraid of, we're going on vacation and we're not going to have, anything. And God just provided. We had everything taken care of. And I guess that last Wednesday night before we left, I'm not going to give names, but I guess before I walked out the door that Wednesday night, the Lord had given us over $1,000 from people. Just walking up and saying, here, I want to be a blessing. I want you to enjoy your vacation. And here I was sitting over here thinking, Mama, you can't give that money to Prove God. We got to go on vacation. And she said, well, you just let God prove Himself to you. And He did. Because He does. And I don't know why I doubted Him. I guess because I'm an idiot. But sometimes I just do. I get to worrying, get to doubting. But He will always prove Himself. Always. Amen. Brother Christopher.
Yeah, I just want to say I got saved January 9th, 2000. By far the best decision been in and out of church a lot since then. But he's always there with open arms, ready to welcome you back. No matter how far you've been, he's always there. Last Sunday was interesting, but Brother Jeremy had me teach a Sunday school class. I was pretty stressed out. I'm not the greatest reader in the world. I'm trying to go through this lesson. I'm like, man, I can't pronounce half these words. Brother Austin was having to preach, was preaching Sunday morning, Sunday night. He got up Sunday night and brought back to remembrance during the Bible about that donkey. And I said, you know what? I said, if Jesus can ride in on a donkey, he can use me.
Yeah.
And after Monday rolled around, Mark and Polo, Brother Austin, I was telling him, I said, man, I appreciate that. I said that was exactly what I needed to hear. I mean, I was stressed. I was aggravated. I was like, I can't do this. And Brother Austin, riding down the road about 45 minutes later, I'm not even sure what it said. Can you tell us, Brother Austin?
There's a old beat up truck in front of me, and I was riding down the road after we got done talking about it, and I looked up, and the weirdest thing on the back of this guy's back glass of the message all it said was he came riding in on a donkey.
And I thought about that all week long. I was like, if he can use a donkey, he can use me. And I've been thinking about that all week long, and I just want to thank God for using anybody that's willing. I pulled up last Sunday and the sign that said, if you're willing, God is able. And I was like, God, thank you. But I just want to thank God for his blessings.
You know, I don't know exactly what all God has in store for our church, but I know it's something big, Brother Kevin. I just do. I believe it. I mean, the growth that we've experienced in the last year is unheard of. I mean, it's just, it don't have nothing to do with me. It's just the Lord. And it's a group of people that are just willing to serve, willing to get behind each other and just do it. Fill in where you need to be filled in and serve where you need to serve. And I'm thankful for what God's going to do. Amen. I'm excited for what the future holds for our church. I believe this fall is going to be a big time for our church. I think it's going to be big. And every year it just keeps getting bigger and bigger, growing more and more and more. And I'm excited. Amen. And I would encourage you. Like Brother Christopher said, you think, well, what can I do? God's got some job for you right here. Something, I promise you he does. Amen. All right. Let's do this. Let's do our, Miss Gail, go ahead.
Well, first of all, I want to thank God for my salvation. Jim and I have been here in this church since it was 6 months old. We've seen such a turnover, and there's a couple of us that's been here from pretty much the start. But it is such a blessing to see all this young generation that's strong and that we know that's going to carry on.
Amen.
I want to thank the Lord for the friends that He's given us in ministry here. And while you were preaching, Dylan was playing What a Beautiful Name, and we were kind of humming it. And I remember that there was a time where Hannah and I sang that years ago. And there was a minute where I think we felt like we were kind of all we had for each other. And then there was a season where she was gone. And then I'm standing here and I'm humming it with old friends and new friends. And I see so many friends that have encouraged us. And I'm just thankful that the Lord gives us the desires of our hearts, you know. And He's just good to us to give us friends when we need them and encourage them when we need them. And just answer those prayers that sometimes we don't, you know, they're just more desires of our heart than prayers. And I'm just thankful for His faithfulness in those things.
We're still mad at man a little bit for that, taking her away for a little while. But he brought her back. And just don't let it happen again, okay? Amen. Amen. Anybody else? Amen. All right, if that's it, we'll do our J dollars.